Hi, this is Melanie O'Neill. I'm going to do my Pasture Evaluation. I actually already did it because I couldn't manage the keyboard and the phone. So the technique I used was to walk along, and then I used this like stick and went down this all grass and just kind of did a big zigzag back and forth. So and then I mostly got grass, which was surprising because there's a lot of thin spaces in here. So even if I got to a spot like this, it's like moss underneath, but there's still a thin amount of grass. So I was getting grass even in an area like that. And so it's a little, I think it's a little misleading. So I did see there's a lot of moss underneath, but still I was hitting grass, even though some of this was sort of like a weedier grass. And but right now everything's pretty green, so I think it's, probably the only time of year I'd get this. So my paperwork, so I came up with the numbers. So 72% grass and 12% weeds, 8%. Hi, Sam. 8% weeds and bare ground, and some of the bare or other was like manure. There's a manure pile, and I have a lot of moss, so I did find a spot with just moss and some weeds around. The average height, I did it separately, was 7.2 inches, which also feels deceiving since it's so thin. I had some high stuff here, so this was like up to like 24 inches here. This is the Kentucky bluegrass, I'm pretty sure. That's Kentucky bluegrass. And this is, I think this is our orchard grass here. Oh, Sam. And so even though it came up with 72 or 7.2 inches average, I'm not quite ready to put them on there, but mostly because of the moisture. So my main concern around here in these clay soils is, you see, it's just too wet. So I'll have to see how it dries out this week. But if it was dry, I would put them out on this pasture. But since it's so wet, I'm just giving them this little area here, which they're already destroying. And just for something, they've only been out here for an hour now, and they're going to go in for dinner. So that'll be it for that. And then there are some weeds. The obvious one is this time of year is this mustard coming up. There, they ate around it there. You can see it. That's what all the farmers call it, mustard. I've looked up and seen other names too, but pretty much everybody calls it mustard. And there is one grass I'm curious about. This one, I tried to look it up. No, it wasn't that one. It's sort of fuzzy. Or maybe it is this. It's flat. It's flattened but fuzzy. And I tried to look. It's kind of got a bluish tint to it, but I couldn't find what that is. I was looking for that. I know exactly what it looks like when I see it mature, but I can't think of it now. A lot of the grass I have is this. I think this is that vernal grass. I have that one too. But otherwise, without seed heads, it's hard to identify some of it. But there is a lot of this spread through the thinner areas, and I think it's that vernal grass, but it almost has like no leaf to it. It doesn't have not much for the horses to eat, but there is some spread throughout a lot of the areas where it's thin. There is some clover. This is, looks like a C, so that looks like white clover there. But there's a lot of purple clover mixed in throughout too. Once it starts blooming, you can see it. But they eat that, and you can even see far out, that's actually like a swamp grass way out there. It's like a reedy swamp grass that grows up. And I think it's everything.